Welcome to episode 83 of Rebels Without a Pod, the show that dares ask the question, what is it about good podcasts that makes me have to crap? Yeah? Yeah. Early big smile from Andy, question. And here we go.
Great question.
A great question. Tonight is King Pod. We're continuing our sports cycle with the Farrelly brothers' 1996 cult favorite bowling comedy, Kingpin. Joining me tonight, Andy, who does our artwork and graphic design.
What's up, everybody?
Naveen on music and audio production.
Ew.
The delay is really what made it. Pod confirmed not in the Epstein files, though unsettling details have emerged about his time on Fireball Island.
Fireball!
A joke for
Let me
a joke for three people. Joke for three people, except I texted that to my brother yesterday, and he did not respond. So, joke for like two people.
Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
It's a sign of the times.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
Some suspicious Eric Polaroids, him and Volcar.
Bring some parenting into question for that one, but I mean we won't. Because we like parents on this podcast.
Really?
Yeah. You're. I mean, it'll probably come up again tonight. I still want to call back to what the episode I wasn't there for, where you guys had the conversation about how to pronounce Bill Murray's last name, and then you guys went on break or something, and then you joined back in, and then you called your parents to ask them like, how do you actually pronounce this?
We were trying to figure it out. It's my standing theory is it's a remnant kind of just kind of like slightly pretentious, like sort of Long Island pronunciation that probably got handed down from like my father's extended relatives on Westlake or whatever. What I had not realized about a guy that for the sake of this podcast, for the sake of momentum, the actor in question, I'm going to just refer to as Billy Boy for the remainder of the record. But I did not realize every time I mispronounced this particular actor's last name, I was like friggin' just Roy Scheider in Jaws, and he's kind of throwing chum off the boat, and he's not really paying attention. And then Naveen was finally like, ah! I have never seen so much enthusiasm and so much joy from my old friend Naveen on this podcast for like the fact I've been doing this for months, and I guess it was like funny to him like every single time.
It's been fantastic.
Yep.
I wanted to call it out for our replacements thing, but I didn't. I let it alone. But the movie Gene Hackman one is Hoosiers.
What did I say?
Hoosiers.
Hosiers.
Hosier daddy.
That feels like a word that there's just no winning with that one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hosier's the
Canadian, then.
Hosier's the tall Irish guy that sings moody music today.
I was just watching Wake Up Dead Man last night, and I just realized I've been just sort of mentally mispronouncing Monsignor this entire time. Probably with a hard G. Monsignor. Monsignor. Never out loud, but definitely in my head, probably since I was about like 6 or 7 years old.
I feel like if you had gone back and instead of asking your dad how to pronounce things, you just referred to grandma, like, hey, grandma, how do you say this famous actor comedian's name? Should have been like, of course it's Murray. Don't ask stupid questions.
You damn idiot.
Yeah, Dad, I'm going to go Dad. Dad seems cool. I like the way Dad says it.
Dad
doesn't want you to fail.
Like my grandparents on.
No, I'm going to end at that but. Nothing. Dad doesn't want you to fail, but.
I think we're going to have you go ahead because I think you cut out.
All of our content is currently up on the Rebels About a Pod YouTube and now Spotify channel. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. We've been up on Spotify, the platform, just about a couple weeks at this point. I would just say to any people who are listening to us on YouTube on any kind of semi-regular basis, if that's the thing, if that's the way you get your podcasts, it's most convenient for you. Please certainly keep doing that. We love like the ears and the time and the attention. But if you do have a Spotify account and it's not really kind of too much of a trouble, if you wouldn't mind maybe kind of switching over for like a little bit and checking out some of the stuff that we're doing on the new platform. We I think in tandem to re-releasing a bunch of the older episodes, I think we should start putting out kind of like the newer ones at the same time to kind of keep up with the cadence of just kind of having our new releases on both. But we're trying to establish ourselves like a little bit on Spotify, because after doing this for the year and a half that it's been, kind of it's what I think seems like just maybe a bit of a more appropriate fit for these kind of like long form audio conversations that we usually have on the show. But either way you come to and find us, we certainly do appreciate it.
We're just tired of doing it for free.
And you could still see the awesome artwork on Spotify, so you won't miss out on that.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to bring my kids to like the doctor's office if they get sick. So if you guys could hook us up, I could get
Eric
insurance.
is still unemployed.
In show continuity, Eric has already kind of did his job. I think he's making the mortgage for the most part, but he has a lovely family, and just please make sure they can pay their bills.
I only have so many cans that I can recycle before I run out of mortgage. So guys, please.
How much are cans worth now there in Massachusetts?
I'm sure with inflation, you get 5 cents per can.
You guys are still 5 cents over there, huh?
Why is it different in Connecticut?
Yeah, we went up to 10 cents about a couple years ago.
What the shit?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, we got to pull a Kramer. Gonna get a box truck and just start bringing cans over the border.
Yeah, you make a lot more money. Double your money.
Yeah,
especially if you only spent 5 cents on it.
Don't do like what like the gas and like the box truck rental costs will be, but just that might be a way to kind of figure it out.
Just got to do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah, just drive the box downhill, drive the car like a downhill both directions.
Yeah.
So tonight, like I said, we're continuing the sports cycle, taking a look at Kingpin, certainly a generational favorite for people our age. But after some conversation that we had in the group chat earlier this week, we thought we would give a little time to a new segment we're calling the Mile High Club, where Andy reviews movies that he watched on a plane. Andy, how you feeling about the new segment name?
I mean, I just hope that I really don't hope that I continue to travel enough to be able to keep this up. But for now, let's see what happens.
What are we trying to keep up?
Doing the theme music. Brown chicken. Wow.
I heard
the most disappointing Mile High Club ever.
Between each movie, you have to go to the bathroom. It's like required for this exercise. And you have to spend at least 5 minutes in there to show that like you gave a good effort on that wank.
Yeah. Sure.
Despite whatever movie you watch.
If we could do something like funky stuff, maybe like a super deep octave. I'll have a plane taking off.
Oh, could we do like a slide guitar solo?
Slide guitar solo. That's if Andy ever flies out like an old timey plane.
Yes, like Wright brothers.
Like if he ever has to take like a crop duster like out to a conference.
Like what is it? Like plane wings attached to like a bicycle, and then he just rides it off like a cliff and just keep pedaling.
Right. I think at that point it's called the velocipede. I don't actually know. Andy, fascinating double bill. The other day on your flight, I believe out to San Diego, you texted us. Curious, first off, would this have been these two particular movies that you picked? Would this kind of double feature been a choice you would have made prior to having this podcast?
So the first movie I definitely wanted to see, and I would have seen it regardless.
Okay.
The second one, I felt guilty having not seen it already, and so I had to watch it. And now, so would this double feature have happened, especially on a single flight? No. This was two pretty heavy watches, all things considered.
It's quite a bit the back-to-back, so let's get right into it. Your first one was Paul Thomas Anderson, 2025, his Oscar-nominated One Battle After Another.
Yes.
So you followed up with...
No. Go ahead. Continue. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, I was going to say like the wildest choice to go right after this movie was you launch yourself immediately into
The Godfather.
The Godfather, Part 1, Francis Ford Coppola, 1975. I want to say, and I was just so astounded by this, just like the level of like flying to San Diego, top tier film bro. It was just a hell of a decision to make. And I wanted us to kind of put a pin in this conversation, just kind of found out until we could actually sort of be on mic to hear about what that experience was like.
So let me set the scene first. So I generally try to fly JetBlue, not a sponsor. And I've flown, I would say a fair number of times this year so far, having only been, 50 some days into the year.
It's actually technically been a decade and a half, but yes.
Yeah, sure. I would say that the choices for movies that are being offered by JetBlue at the moment are a bit lackluster. They're either new movies that I have no interest in, and to be clear, they're lackluster for me. I'm sure there are plenty of people that want to see whatever the new, rom-com or whatever the new whatever else is.
What's an exemplar of like? Because I think what was it? Roofman was something that you recently watched on a flight and you were not particularly impressed by.
Yeah, I watched Roofman, which was of the two that I watched on that flight, the better of the two. And I now can't recall what the second one was, but it was not particularly good.
See,
but
I think I kind of blame you on this one. I just think you have poor choice in movies because I flew JetBlue recently. And it's like, I agree, it's a sort of mediocre selection, but I watched, I'm coming off of this saying I watched the Naked Gun movie, the new one. So, I mean, that's not like exemplary.
That's what it was. That's what it was. I watched that one too.
That's so I guess it was there for like 3 months.
Yeah.
But I also watched the John Candy I Like Me documentary.
I was going to watch that.
So that's on you because that was there. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, click.
Was it good?
It was
That's a
great.
good documentary. I like that. Yeah.
I was going to watch it on the way home, and then I didn't end up watching any movies on the way home. I got tied up in other things, and it just never happened. So
Eric was like, I like me, and then he puts it on. I like this.
I like this.
I like
myself too. I'm flipping through, and One Battle After Another pops up, and that was not available on the last time I flew. And I was like, oh, slam dunk. I'm 100% going to watch that. It's a movie I wanted to see anyway. Perfect. So I throw it on. I guess to get the letterboxed piece of it out first, 3.5 stars, 3.5 stars for me.
3.5 stars.
I would say it was a little bit all over the place. DiCaprio was fine, I guess. Tiana Taylor did the best she could with a kind of a one-dimensional character. I think they could have fleshed that character out a lot more than just having her be like the crazy femme fatale, I guess.
A woman who also, we'll kind of get into minor spoiler territory, but is in the film for 25 minutes and disappears. Like her presence looms over everything the entire time, but she is gone by the end of the first act.
Yeah, you don't see her face again, I don't think. Maybe in pictures, but you don't see her again.
There's in the outro, there's a brief voiceover narration for her, and she's, just her absence does kind of hang over the whole thing, but she's not in the movie a long time.
No, she's really not. Sean Penn's character looked like an old leather duffel bag. And somehow that was the more disconcerting of the, I guess, character traits, if you want to call it that. Aside from, or I guess above and beyond the fact that he is a, how would you even explain? He's a Nazi. He's a race. I I don't even know what you would call him.
A white supremacist who has a really extreme kink, kind of shaming kink, particularly from powerful Black women.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to it. Okay.
Right.
What does Sean Penn look like to you outside of this film?
He looks like a younger leather duffel bag.
Right.
Okay.
In this movie, he's got a crazy haircut. To kind of build on what Andy said, he also looks like a leather duffel bag that's been doing a lot of push-ups.
Yeah. He's jacked up for sure.
Everything about him is just very upsetting in this film.
Yeah, it's just very odd. His whole thing is weird. But then you got the shining light of the movie, in my humble opinion, Benicio del Toro as the sensei. Just talk about the dude that you want in your corner on your side when shit goes down. Like, couldn't have been more calm, cool, and collected throughout the entire thing. He was fantastic. He was absolutely my favorite part of the movie. Very much the high point.
Andy, for like the listenership, for people who aren't kind of familiar, could you give just the briefest overview of what this film was actually about?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so Leonardo DiCaprio, Tiana Taylor, and a whole bunch of others are a part of this sort of revolutionary group. Modern day, this all takes place, I think today, or certainly in the recent past. They sort of get tracked and found out to kind of who they are, so they all scatter and they all kind of go their own separate ways with new identities. Leonardo DiCaprio and Tiana Taylor, there's a child involved, and he ends up with the daughter. She basically gets caught and turns rat, and then escapes and goes to some other country. I forget where they sent her.
It's
or where
supposed to be Mexico. She basically, they're being hunted by this military colonel played by Sean Penn as kind of like a counter. As a counter revolutionary effort, and so everybody kind of gets scared at the wind. People in the group get arrested, gets killed off. She gets arrested, turns on the other people in the group, and then just kind of runs away from everybody. Kind of like disappears down into Mexico, leaving kind of DiCaprio to kind of raise to raise their child by himself while he's essentially in hiding.
Yeah, and then so fast forward, 15 years, and shit starts to go down again, and he and his daughter get split up. She kind of gets, for all intents and purposes, she gets ultimately abducted by the Sean Penn character. He is about to kill her. DiCaprio goes to
there's a rescue
her.
effort mounted. The inciting incident of this is basically because like this revolutionary group has sort of been scattered, but years and years later, Sean Penn wants to join this super elite kind of white supremacist kind of covert shadow group called the Christmas Adventurers Club.
That's right.
Not making this part of it up. The members include one character played by Jim Downey of SNL and Dirty Work fame.
Yep.
And like the reason kind of everything is instigated in the movie is because this is a white supremacist group. It is questionable throughout most of the movie whether Tiana Taylor's daughter was the daughter of Leonardo DiCaprio or Sean Penn, who she started hooking up with while him and his counterinsurgency group was actually hunting her. The military would kind of spend all day kind of chasing these people. And then Tiana Taylor and Sean Penn would meet up at shady motels at night. So basically she could just shame him and step on his dick like and everything else. So the whole instigating thing in the movie is basically Sean Penn, who is still a high level like military official, launches a siege on like a medium-sized college town. I think it's supposed to be Portland or some kind of analog to that, basically to track down and locate this daughter to confirm whether or not he's actually like the father at all, and basically to kind of kill her if she does, because she compromises his odds of getting into the Christmas Adventurers Club.
Yeah. And basically then hijinks ensue. That's kind of it. There's a lot of drug use and drinking on DiCaprio's side. He is a bit of a loser. Kind of just kind of gave up on life after he went into hiding in a lot of ways.
Kind of post 60s acid damage, but meanwhile, there's also like a ton of kind of there's it just echoes of kind of what's happening in Minneapolis, what was just happening in Minneapolis and other places. There's kind of a military siege on this town because they've been brought to this town under false pretenses, and like the younger people are actually kind of protesting and rebelling against like the military guys, kind of like doing a siege. Andy, overall, would you say you enjoyed this movie?
I would say if it's a binary, if it's either a yes or a no, I would say yes, I enjoyed it. I'd say it's a little bit more gray area than that. I definitely don't think I enjoyed the whole thing. I think that it was, like I said, kind of disjointed. It sort of, I felt like it kind of lost the thread a little bit here and there. But it was stylish, and it kept your interest. It was pretty action packed for the most part. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Very contemporary, also. Very, to agree, PTA has kind of said in interviews, this is way more of the moment than I even kind of envisioned when I first kind of wrote this story.
Yeah.
I got to ask a question. Do you think it would make it a better film if they introduced raining frogs? Like just frogs, just randomly people like, hey, what's that noise?
And just Amy Mann and acoustic guitar just sounding sad, just kind of singing over everything about fireworks.
Just a sad quiz boy that got hit in the face with a frog, and he's just
sure.
Ow, my braces cut my lip. Ugh.
I mean, really, what movie isn't made better by raining frogs?
Okay. I can think of one example.
Okay.
You could also add some like.
I was really hot and cold on this film because just really politically contemporary films are not always kind of like the biggest thing that kind of gets me excited. But this film is based on like a Thomas Pynchon novel from the 70s about the Weather Underground, which was an actual kind of actual sort of kind of just a sort of kind of covert underground kind of revolutionary group who did a lot of similar things to kind of what's depicted in the movie. But start of the film, you're like, oh, this is cool for like a little bit. And then at one point, the revolutionary group is robbing a bank, and like a woman who I was convinced was Ego Nwadum from SNL jumps up on the counter and starts screaming about how my name is Jungle Pussy. I'm like, okay, this movie has lost me like a little bit, but then Benicio del Toro kind of comes in as like this Obi-Wan kind of a Yoda, sort of kind of like a karate master called Sensei. It kind of teams up with DiCaprio. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. It's really. It's a movie that does a lot of different shit at the end.
He absolutely saves the movie, in my opinion. So anyway, I would say, like I said, yes, I enjoyed it for the most part. It was definitely a good watch on the plane. Which then brings me to the second in the double feature, like I said, which was The Godfather. So
Naveen, if we could put like a little kind of Godfather sort of like mandolin string or something like that. That would be sweet.
Godfather mandolin string. All right.
So I've mentioned this on the pod before. I'm certain I have, but up until this point, I had never seen The Godfather. It's one of those movies that is on the top of every best movie ever list. My father has always sung its praises, specifically Godfather Part 2. Everybody says that's the better of the two, so I have to reserve a little bit of judgment for that.
Part 2 is really in the argument for maybe like the best made American movie of all time. That's really
yeah. That's kind of what everybody says. But so it always kind of was a certainly not an embarrassment, but just one of those things where like, hey, I have a movie podcast, and
it's a major blind spot.
Huge blind spot. I'm a huge movie fan. How have I not seen this? So I thought, you know what? I still have 3.5 hours left in my flight. I know this one's a long one. I might regret this, but I'm going for it. And
so we went into the airplane bathroom, came out 5 minutes later.
That's right. So I guess I'm going to dive in first with my well, again with my letterboxd, I ranked this one 4 stars. I think it's probably a 4.5 star movie ultimately, but I wanted to kind of reserve judgment before I see Godfather Part 2, because if Godfather Part 2 is better, and I've already ranked this one 4.5 stars, there's very few movies that I will give 5 stars to. The Goonies being one of them, of course, which was also available on the flight, but I'd seen it so many times I decided not to. So I wanted to leave some room, but I may bump this one up a little bit depending on how Godfather Part 2 goes. We'll have to see.
Very cool. Very cool.
Okay, so
real quick, Eric looks like he's dying to say something.
Oh yeah, what?
I was just gonna say, reserve that 4.5 stars until you see the third movie.
I've heard the third one's terrible.
They never actually made a third movie. Urban legend doesn't actually exist. It's fine.
Got it.
You just need to worry about the 2, Andy.
Noted. Noted. Marlon Brando, excellent. I mean, just absolutely. I don't know that I'd ever really seen him in a whole lot. I saw the Isle of Dr. Moreau or Island of Dr. Moreau. That movie was fucking awful.
That is where they got the idea for Mini-Me. Fucking mad piece of a film. It's really, it's so goddamn.
All I heard was grape nuts,
be,
and I was sold.
That film is like a prize in a box.
In and out this whole time, Johnny. We've heard like every 5th word.
How am I right now?
Better.
Naveen, stop looking at me. Stop judging me.
No eye contact.
Don't listen to my voice.
I'll cut out that video. No problem.
Sorry, Andy. Keep going.
Yeah, so I'd only really ever seen him in the Isle of Dr. Moreau and like clips of other stuff that he had been in, but I can't honestly say that I'd ever really seen a Brando film before. I don't know how this one compares to his other roles that he's played, but I will say again, excellent in this movie.
He was a Marlon
Al
Brando of his
Pacino.
day.
What's that?
Marlon Brando of his
He's-
day. All right.
Yes, he's the Marlon Brando of his day for sure. Al Pacino. All right, to me, this was such a strange performance for Al Pacino. He's like so over the top, weirdly animated. He makes weird eye contact with people. He's so Al Pacino. It's weird. It's just weird. Like, I honestly think that his role as the bad guy from Dick Tracy, what was his name?
A big boy.
Big Boy. I actually think his role as Big Boy was less weird than this one.
Interesting.
It's because he was actually playing not Al Pacino.
Right, sure, right.
He's like, okay, I'm Big Boy. Big Boy's a fictional character, but
Yes.
like every other character he plays, he's like, I'm Al Pacino.
Hoorah!
Call me Al.
Robert Duvall, rest in peace, was understated, and he was his part was super well done. I would say for me, second favorite part of the movie was Robert Duvall.
German Irish consigliere Tom Hagen. Like what?
Yep,
Like
so good.
Very high point for him.
James Caan was James Connie.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the best I can say there. Diane Keaton, I think I said Fivehead.
Slang I did not know about, but it's horrifying.
Fun joke.
Yep.
Fun joke. I like it.
I just could not stop looking at her enormous forehead, which is a shame because I'm guessing she probably did a pretty good job because she's Diane Keaton. But I was so distracted by her forehead that anyway. Talia Shire, this movie solidified my opinion that she sucks. She's bad in everything, but she's really bad in this. She got the role purely because she is part of the Coppola family, and but she can't act, and she never could. So fuck her.
There's this one scene where Talia is having a fight with her husband, and her husband goes "Ba Fangu," and she goes "Oh, Ba Fangu, are you?" And I still think about that like once a month.
Yep, terrible. And then everybody else was convincingly Italian. So that's my review of the individuals. I would say this movie was never going to live up to all the hype for me, just because, it's been built up for 45 years of my life. But I do understand why it's as highly regarded as it is. It's a little overlong. Probably could have been split into 2 movies all by itself. Meaning like the Brando era of the family and then the Pacino era of the family could have been 2 separate stories. But
interesting. So it's kind of you split that in half basically around when kind of Pacino sort of takes over as like the head of the family, basically.
Yeah, and if that movie was made today, it absolutely would have been 2 parts, 100%. But all of that being said, I'm very glad I finally got around to watching it. Looking forward to seeing part 2. If you're a fan of movies, and you haven't seen this one, you should see it. It's the cinematography is great. A lot of the acting is excellent. It's believable, and you get immersed in it. And
quick question: did you have any kind of challenge, kind of because like the story is a little complex? It might be a little bit obtuse. I'm afraid. Did you have any trouble following kind of what the major plot threads of the film actually were?
So there's 2 answers to that question. Either yes, I followed it perfectly well because I'm super smart, or I completely missed it all because I'm super dumb. But I wouldn't know if I was super dumb. So I don't know, but I think I did. Why do you ask?
Kind of like the War of the Families and everything else. It's really kind of like a secondary thing to just like like you said, like the performances and the cinematography and like the vibe or everything else. But I think when people do bounce off The Godfather, which they occasionally do, that's the thing I feel like here sometimes is like I enjoyed watching it, but I had kind of a hard time understanding kind of what was completely going on beat to beat.
I'm not sure honestly that I cared to be honest. Like I think I wanted to watch it for what it was, thinking that and I look at a lot of movies this way, especially dramatic movies, kind of like bigger movies. I figure if I really, really enjoy it the first time through, that I'll probably end up watching it again at some point, and then that's when I can really start to pay attention to some of the backstory or maybe some of the other stuff. But I try to
some like the things more on the side that were less important to you, like on your first pass.
Yeah. I try to look at movies high level, at least the first time, especially movies like this one. I figured, this thing is 2 hours. It's almost 3 hours long. There's going to be a lot of content. I'm not going to pick up everything on a first watch. So let me just try to enjoy it as much as I can. And I did. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was very good.
Well, very cool. So 4 stars, potentially like 4.5. Curiosity about seeing part 2 at some point.
Definitely.
So that was our Mile High Club. Andy reviews movies he watched on a plane.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, let's kind of get on to the feature of the night. So Kingpin. It's a 1996 bowling comedy directed by Bobby and Peter Farrelly. Synopsis in brief: no way he actually drank all that Jim Beam. I don't know why that jumped out to me, but so just spoilers for like the entire movie, but like the last scene, he's in his apartment and he's emptying out all the bottles of whiskey that he has, and I'm kind of staring at this. I'm like, this could have been like his apartment looks like it could have been a scene out of like The Godfather. Could have been like a mafia sort of storage warehouse for booze during Prohibition or something like that. I don't know why that jumped out to me, but like all those bottles, I'm like, he would have died 12 times over before you even kind of get to like half that shit. I don't know. Other synopses in brief, guys. Anything else?
Yeah. Synopsis in brief. Yes, you can get sick from drinking your own piss.
Synopsis in brief. Balding amputee goes on road trip, drinks bull sperm, befriends savant Luddite and con artist with accent of indeterminate origin, and does bowling.
Like it?
That was an actual synopsis in brief.
An actual synopsis in brief. I went for it.
All right.
Maybe we're coming up on 150 hours of produced content. That's the first time we've actually gotten that right.
All right, synopsis in brief. How do you titillate an ocelot? You oscillate its titillate. All right, and this one I'm gonna jump in.
You like a horse?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, he was supposed to chop him off at the knees, and that's why you see him so short in a later scene.
In
Right.
the later scene, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just the hooves there.
It's like when you're
But-
cutting up leeks and you only use like the bottom third of it. It's really the only part
Yeah.
you can cook.
Make some glue. So I've got a couple more because I couldn't. I just had to write them down, and I couldn't get around this one character. But synopsis in brief: everything's in, everything's in. I don't think so.
Could you also record mandolin strings over that part?
We'll see. And then the other one, I just kind of kept going with it on the other side of it. Don't speak. I know what you're thinking. Every time I saw that guy.
Naveen, could we actually do that as a bit for this record? Can you record like the Godfather mandolin part once, and they just kind of put it in and kind of random parts in the show when you're doing post?
Yeah. So get the specifically the Godfather mandolin part. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be fun.
I hope you get some OT for that.
Come on,
Occupation
Spotify.
Yeah, can I get
Eric
my
still
own
thinks
theme
we're all getting
song,
paid.
by the way? Every time I make a lame joke, can you like cue me in with like my own theme song?
Don't speak.
Just don't speak. You know he's gonna say it anyways.
Eric, we don't care what you're thinking. All right.
Wait. Oh, I got a synopsis in brief.
Right.
It's Murray.
Okay.
Murray.
And a big smile from Naveen. Written by Barry Finaro and Morton Nathan. The film stars Woody Harrelson, Randy Quaid, Vanessa Angel, and an actor I'll be referring to tonight just as Billy Boy. Their feature follow-up to mega hit Dumb and Dumber. The film received middling critical and commercial response on release. It grossed only $32 million, a little over 10% of the gross that Dumb and Dumber saw, on a budget of 25, currently holding only a 50% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. However, Kingpin did find a second life on home video, eventually attaining the status of a 90s cult classic. Bucking critical consensus for the time, 3.5 stars from Roger. He writes, movies like this require a kind of daring. There are jokes that must have been made even there are jokes that must have made even the filmmakers groan. The business of removing the horse's shoes, for example. Good taste, prudence, and timidity has no place on this set. The Farrellys cut no corners and took no prisoners. Kingpin provides a release of many kinds of laughter, including the most rare disbelief. He was, yeah. When he was right, he was right. When he was wrong, he was very, very wrong. We'll have to see how everybody says. Papa, let's go to you first. This one was your choice for sports. Could you talk a little bit your history with this movie and how was your rewatch?
My history with this film. Contrary to popular opinion, I wasn't a fan of Dumb and Dumber back in the day.
Really?
It's something about the Jim Carrey flick that just didn't, it's not for everybody. It's like he's constantly turned on. As soon as the camera's rolling, it's all Jim Carrey. That's all you focus on. And I mean, the guy, it's like whenever you see a Jim Carrey film, you know it's a Jim Carrey film because it's all him. You get all of him. And if some people like it, some people don't. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. But Dumb and Dumber was not a huge one for me. I did not see Kingpin at theaters, but I caught it afterwards when it was on video, and it was streaming on like pay-per-view and stuff.
Okay, before you keep going, could I say like one real quick thing about Dumb and Dumber?
Yes.
From what you're saying, 94 must have been a tough year for you because The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective all came out the same year.
Are you going to follow that up with saying, "Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk, nyuk"? Wah!
Some pod I was listening to the other day talked about it's maybe like the most successful trio of movies any performer ever has kind of put out like within like a single year. It's kind of an all-timer, but not for you.
No, not for me. The Mask I was not a big fan of, but it's kind of like Ben Stiller, right? I put Ben Stiller in the same category, and this gets into like Farrelly brother choices for like their lead comedians for these films.
Mhm.
The thing I liked about Kingpin was this was being led by Bill Murray. Believe it or not, people say, you know, Woody Harrelson, and people recognized him from Cheers, and he was kind of a big name at the time. But in terms of comedy, I'm not sure if he was much of a comedian in this film, but
Mhm.
Bill Murray, every time he's on screen,
Right.
is so fucking funny. Everything
15
out of his
minutes at the
goddamn mouth
top, and
is
then
so funny.
maybe 10 at the end, and it's like a Fred Willard and Best in Show performance. It's just like there's not a drop in millisecond that he has.
And so for all the funny stuff that this film brings that you expect from like a Farrelly Brothers film, Bill Murray is the one that just kind of did it for me, because it brought me back to like Caddyshack or like Ghostbusters or any of like his great films that he's been in, where he's just kind of leading the film. And I mean, I got to think what else was in 94 at the time. I mean, Groundhog Day, when was that? That was early 96. Right?
Kingpin was 96. Dumb and
Or
Dumber
96. Right, that was 96. Yeah. But like, I mean, Bill Murray, he was just popular at the time, and I always loved his films. So that's kind of what drew me in. And Woody Harrelson, I didn't know that well. But this movie does it makes so many weird choices. And then also the Amish. That's fucking ballsy to like include that in your film. Because I mean, how many Amish films do you know? Or films about the Amish? Like, I'm not calling it Amish people. They're not going to be listening to this anyways. But just what strange folk. Just very strange. You know nothing about them, and they don't really want to like bring you into like their whole thing. It's like it's really weird for me. So seeing this film, I'm just like, this is really kind of niche comedy film, and I'm not sure who this is for, but I really fucking enjoy it.
So
I've probably seen it like 20, 30 times at least.
20, 30 times, really. Let me. I just pulled it up, by the way. But let's do kind of like a quick run through, just kind of going back. Let's say like going back to like 80s. Let's go back 10 years. So starting with 86, Little Shop of Horrors, Scrooged, Ghostbusters 2. That's 89. What About Bob is 91. Groundhog Day 93.
93, yeah.
Mad Dog and Glory also 93. Ed Wood, his performance as Bunny Breckenridge 94. Again, like a similar, not in it for not in the film for that long, but probably just like the platinum grade.
Scrooged was 88. Wow. Okay.
Scrooge was
88.
88. Yeah. And then Kingpin 96. Also 96, Space Jam. And then 97, The Man Who Knew Too Little, who was that, that's considered kind of like a downward slope, but then like another personal sort of favorite, 5-10 minutes of the movie, like a just owns every second that he's on. Wild Things in 1998. So what a run he had for like a little bit there.
Guy's a legend.
He is a legend.
And so kind of come back to this, how long is it? So like 20, 30 times, how long has it been since you've seen this movie, and how was the latest rewatch?
It's been a while. I haven't come back to any Farrelly Brothers movie, probably in like the last 15 years. It was this is like life affirming shit, seeing it again, because I thought it was going to be a hot pile of trash. And I thought it just held up. I mean, there's a couple, jokes that are just kind of like lame, but I mean, you get that with most films. I just thought it held up so well for a film that you can watch for free on Tubi or Pluto TV. Sorry, Pluto TV. It's just anybody can watch it for free, and you're like, okay, it's like another throwaway film. But for me, watching this, it's like, again, we always talk about nostalgia, thick lens. I just thought that the things that I liked about it back in the day,
huge risk with a movie like this, particularly in 1996. You're like, will this not be great when I come back to it?
I know. I'm like, are the Amish still the same way I remember them? Which was the only thing I knew about them were from this film and Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic.
Right.
I rewatched that video recently because my son was on like a Weird Al Yankovic kick, and I think it was Florence Henderson plays the role of Michelle Pfeiffer in that Gangster Paradise video.
That's very funny.
Yeah, and it's Florence Henderson. I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my god, look at her. That's great.
That's one of the few Weird Al songs that the artist that he was spoofing took offense to it and really didn't like it. Coolio really hated that song because he thought that it was trivialized.
He was mad at him for a minute, but they also presented like an award together at the MTV Music Awards a year or two after that. Like but
he was really upset with him at least in the beginning because he felt like he was he thought that Weird Al was trivializing a a really important issue.
Well, there was
whitewashing
miscommunication with that too, though. Because
there's what?
There was a miscommunication with that as well because they he had actually asked him and Coolio said no, but I think Weird Al's some agent of Weird Al's or something said he said you could do it. So yeah. So that's where the beef comes in. Like he did it anyways, but
also like in fairness, it's just Weird Al just sold out Madison Square Garden. The last time I heard about Coolio was about 10 years ago when he was doing a rap video promoting Pornhub. So
you didn't hear about him when he died?
Yeah.
What?
He died.
Coolio's dead?
Coolio's dead, dude. He died like a year ago.
Oh, sure.
That's not cool.
No. No, it's really not. It's Cooley no.
Yeah.
There it is. Andy, what do you think?
So I realized that I'd seen the movie before, but I had never seen it not on cable television. I think the only times I'd ever seen it were like in bits and pieces on Comedy Central in the past. So this was the first time through where I saw everything. I would say this movie has some really funny stuff in it. But I found myself, I just didn't like any of the characters. They're just all awful. I feel the same way in a lot of ways about this as I do like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That show, I should love it. I should absolutely love that show. It's exactly my sense of humor. It's dark.
Everything on paper is
It's exactly written for somebody like me with my kind of sense of humor, and I just can't watch it. So all these characters suck in their own ways. But there, like I said, there was still some very funny stuff in it. Also, there's a 0% chance that Roy could ever pull Claudia in real life. The fact that that it ends with the two of them together is just, it would have been so much funnier or better if they had gone their own separate ways or that, whatever. But like the fact that they did the happy ending. Just the happy ending just sort of rubbed me wrong for some reason.
I mean, did she hook up at the end though was it Roy Munson or was it Brother Jebediah? Because if it was Jebediah Munson, then it makes sense.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
She's into like Amish.
I didn't think about that.
That's her thing. She's also a whore, so
the really grim, dark like credit scene ending I kind of pictured for myself for Kingpin was they're having a concert, everybody's dancing, they're having a good time, and then credits roll, and at the end, like the Amish realize, we hired Blues Traveler in 1996. We need to use this $500,000 to pay their fee for having the show.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was fine. I would say I enjoyed it. It had some funny parts. I don't know that it's necessarily one that I would go back to revisit again in the future.
Interesting.
And
Andy's Box Lunch, what was your Letterboxd score?
I don't even remember.
2.5 stars. Going on to
2.5 stars.
Wow, Andy. All I have to say
I check your shit daily, dude. I am persistent.
You get so much more enjoyment out of my Letterboxd scores than I do.
It's one of the only things I have these days. Naveen,
honestly, at this point, I'm doing it for you.
I was gonna say, Andy, you wound me. You must have a really wide foot.
Super wide. Naveen, what do you think?
All right, I same with Eric. I probably watched it a year or two later when it came out on video, kind of thing, and remember laughing my ass off with it. It was hilarious, just funny and stupid in some ways, but smart in other ways. and everything. So it was a great movie then. Now I'm kind of along the lines with you, Andy. A lot of funny parts, but wasn't as good as I remember watching it there. But I enjoyed it, but I would probably watch it again because it was still good enough to be rewatchable and things. But I only probably watched it, maybe a handful of times back then, and haven't watched it, in that 30 years or so. Less than 30 years, but around there. And still kind of funny, but just not as funny as I remember it being, I guess. There was a little bit more downtime that I don't recall being between like jokes and things, but overall, still a good movie to watch. Still would recommend it. Still, I would probably watch it again if somebody else was going to watch it, but yeah, probably wouldn't go out of my own way just to watch it again.
Naveen, did you have a particular favorite joke? Kind of coming, not what you remember as a kid, but coming back to this as an adult. What was the thing on your last watch that made you laugh the hardest?
Oh, geez, there probably were a lot of them. Anything with the hand was funny with his hook or something, or just Bill Murray. Yeah, as Eric mentioned, just kind of stealing the show and finding out that they gave Bill Murray a little bit of script. He read it and then threw the script away and just did his ad-libbing thing.
I'm going to improvise everything.
Yeah. And just even knowing it was coming, I think one of the best parts is just when he shakes Roy's hand at the end and shakes it so hard and he takes it off. He's like, oh, just celebrating, and he throws the hand in the audience. It's still just funny. And then at the end, the custodian guy sweeping it up and like, here's your hand.
Right.
It's so sad. Some of my favorite scenes are the montages where they have I love the one where they're on the road, they're driving to the tournament, and then they're doing the whipped cream trick where somebody's sleeping and they put whipped cream on their face and they try to get him to swipe it off. And Ishmael's like laughing and he's putting it on Roy's face. And then it shows him later on, and he's just like holding his nose. He has a bandage on it because he really hooked himself. Like, that's smart. That's funny.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. I think anything really with Randy Quaid. I think for me, you mentioned Benicio del Toro stealing the show for you in the battle, one battle after another. Randy Quaid, I think, was just awesome. He just killed his jokes, I think, as well, alongside with Bill Murray. But of course, I think obviously Randy Quaid did his jokes from what was written and given to him. But I think he played it off just playing that guy who's kind of dumb, but learning, and kind of Amish, but going off the rails I thought was pretty great.
Gotcha.
Dude, I would have never picked him in a million years to be in that film. If I
He
was
was
like
a
Farrelly
strange
Brothers,
choice.
it would have been like Randy Quaid. Why the hell would I pick Randy Quaid?
This is a guy
Not a funny
who actually, kind of like most people our age kind of know him best from the vacation movies. But this is a guy who I think won an Academy Award back in 1972.
Yeah.
This guy who got like Emmy nominations for playing like LBJ in a movie kind of relatively recently. This is so we know him from either Independence Day or kind of Vacation, but like a guy with a lot of range, like a guy up until he started kind of going nuts, like in like the late 2000s. Anybody can like look up like the just in any of the reporting that's been done on how he and his wife started basically kind of went crazy and decided that they were being pursued by Hollywood assassins, and they got like accused of like defrauding like an inn in Santa Barbara, like the rest of that. But at this point, this was an incredibly accomplished actor, and not just in like comedic things. A guy with like a just who could kind of do anything sort of at this point in his career. This movie for me was really, really, really all over the map. I think I'm kind of close to Andy on this one. I think Billy Boy, Fred Willard, and Best in Show, 100-point game. It's just that they're in the diner at the beginning. He sees the group of women kind of like looking at him. It's just that, hey, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not you.
Perfect.
I cut you off there, Johnny, a little bit, since you brought up that scene. That was a hilarious scene, and I just found something on it as well. That, again, Bill Murray's lines were improvised, so he improvised that part, and then I guess after the director's like cut and the scene was done, he went up to him and just started apologizing to him. He's like, "Oh, sorry,"
Yeah. I mean, we're like, it seems like that he improvises that. How does not everybody immediately just kind of crack up and die laughing like the second that he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christ.
Finish up your cereal outside, then come back and we.
Go wash that perfume off.
Yeah,
Jesus.
son of a bitch.
I think that Billy Boy obviously amazing. I think like Woody Harrelson really, really good in this. I think Vanessa Angel actually like kind of surprising good in this. The Thing. I mean, I kind of struggle with two things. I think like Andy and Naveen both kind of alluded to this, but I think like the pacing was off. I think it's a lot slower than I remember. I first watched this probably at Naveen's house back in the day. I remember laughing my ass off. I think that there are jokes in here that work really, really, really well, but there's stuff that is either really cringy or really dated or kind of clunkily set up or just is just kind of punching down the entire time. To Naveen's point, the thing I think I kind of liked the least about kind of watching this movie as an adult was I thought Randy Quaid was kind of like the weakest part of this. Like the whole time I'm kind of watching him, I'm like, they should have made him stupid or they should have made him Amish. I think kind of like going with it was just kind of this kind of misses the point like the entire thing. Like all the Amish stuff, I'm like, I kind of been tumbling this movie around in my head like the last couple of days. I'm like, there's a better film here if they kind of take the Amish stuff out completely. And I know that's a weird take. I know that's a you know that's a probably you know not something kind of said about like this movie kind of very often, but it's I feel like you know the more subtle comedy or the improvised stuff or kind of like the quieter, drier stuff when Woody Harrelson is being interviewed by you know like the Sports Center guys at the tournament. And you know like the interviewer is like, oh, so what were you doing during the 80s? And he's just like, he's thinking for a second. He's kind of his eyes kind of go off in space. He's like, drinking. And the announcer's like, oh, okay, so but you're not drinking anymore, right? And it's like, oh no. This is looking at the guy for a second. Are you buying? That shit killed me. But stuff that happened on the Amish plantation or Vanessa Angel being sexy to distract the guys, and then they're playing like a farmer team, and then they bring out a sheep to kind of direct the farmers. Like, whoa,
dying.
That was great.
Yeah,
because you're like, what are they going to bring out? And then you see that, and it's so perfect. They're like, oh man, that fucking sheep.
This is a 30-year-old movie.
Yeah,
I hate saying that out loud. This is a 30-year-old movie. Some of these things age really well. I think some of these other things were just particularly kind of shock and like offensive, like you know, just stuff like kind of early Family Guy and South Park and Adult Swim and kind of other movies that sort of kind of came along after this. I think did this particular sort of style of comedy like a lot better. So this one was what I enjoyed. I really enjoyed, but it was like a little bit kind of personally just all over the map for me otherwise.
John, had you'd seen this before, right?
Naveen's Place, probably 1997.
Oh yeah, okay, you said that. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was kind of fascinating to me in the group chat talking to Andy and kind of mentioning like the Blues Traveler post-credit scene. And like I like that scene enough that it actually got me to see Blues Traveler in college. But Naveen, Andy, having only watched this on cable TV, didn't even know that this was a scene in the film.
Nope, completely missed the fact that Blues Traveler was. Not only did I miss the fact that Blues Traveler was at the end, I also didn't pick up on the fact that John Popper was the
the announcer
MC
for the
guy
yeah,
or whatever.
whatever his.
Yeah, I picked up on that
I didn't
on this watch.
I didn't realize it was him. I didn't clock it at all.
I mean, are you a big Blues Traveler guy?
I actually liked Blues Traveler a lot back when that first big album hit, the album 4. I liked them a lot at that point. I can't say that I have kept up with any of their output. But you know, I would say that I liked them enough historically that I figured I would have picked up on him. He's a pretty distinctive character as well. Like he looks
Also extremely young looking in this movie. I was like, holy crap.
yeah.
Here's something that blew my mind, though, after watching this film and looking at Blues Traveler to see what's going on with them. John Popper's still fucking alive. And that kind of hurts me to some degree because it's like, how many good artists have died
right
over the past like years, and John Popper's still fucking going.
How did he
had, like,
outlive Prince?
I think he had like a major heart attack or health scare this past
He's
year.
been through multiple
Heavy
kind of like
smoker.
sort of kind of like stomach stapling surgeries. He got really skinny. He got fat again. Like another
God.
member of the band died just a few years ago. So I mean, this is similar to the conversation we had watching Dirty Work about how many people did
Artie Lang.
Artie,
Outlive.
Oh yeah,
outlived 2/3 the people in that fucking movie, including the opera critic.
I mean, it also took John Popper a while too to escape the Amish, because once he committed to that film, they indoctrinated him. So for him to actually like escape from the from Pennsylvania,
they literally
like,
raised an
Lord,
entire barn
means
around
so
the
much.
stage while they were doing like a 2-hour jam session.
Yeah, that conga line, he's like, it kept going for 30 years. It was awful. Finally escaped it.
Let's get to kind of like some of the like the talking points that Eric kind of wrote for this episode. But and this is a good jumping off point. How does the movie portray the Amish? And if you have any kind of thoughts generally on the Amish, or have you ever actually been to Amish country? Papa, how about we start with you?
I mean, are we allowed to go to Amish country?
Yes.
I feel like
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
cross the border, I'd get shot. I have no idea about what the Amish is like. Except
what they
for-
have in terms of gun control.
Are they allowed to have guns? They must be allowed to have guns.
You have your
To keep
ankle caught in a
coyotes at
war.
bay.
Hmm.
Yeah, to keep technology at bay. The only exposure I have to the Amish is, like I said, through this film, through Amish Paradise. Mutual friend of John and mine. We visited him once. Oh, actually, I visited him once with my wife, and he brought me to it's called a Pennsylvania Dutch Farmers Market. It's like
Yes.
a branch of like Amish like farmers markets they have all
Well,
over
right
like
on the
Maryland.
corner of this apartment building. I've been to that thing too. It's very strange.
Yeah. It's a cool place though, because it reminded me of I mean, you can verify this, John, but like if you go to like those basements of department stores in Japan,
The
where you go
Depa
and they just
Sure.
Depa Chica, where they have tons of like food vendors and stuff like that. That's like all food being freshly made.
Hmm.
If you go to these farm marketplaces, I mean, it's all run by the Amish, but they have like they have a butcher there where they sell like, you know, fresh meat. You can get produce, bake. They're known for having baked goods, like really what is it? Like Boston
Pretzels are kind
cream
of the famous
donuts,
thing, like, yeah.
apple fritters,
Mhm.
stuff like that. But they also make their own furniture, which is kind of cool.
Mm.
The best thing I remember about this place was I love how everybody is dressed in like old timey dress, like what you expect of the Amish.
Mhm.
But then they had it's like a confectionery place, and they had chocolate covered bacon. And our mutual friend is vegetarian, and I just remember trying that. And I'm like, this is like bacon to like the 100th degree. Like it's so amazing.
If you're going to change, this is where you should start.
Yeah, I'm like, this will be the one thing that breaks my friend.
Mhm.
It's chocolate. It's chocolate and it's bacon. I mean, it's so fucking good. But I remember they had delicious food. And so that's all I can say about the Amish.
Andy, let's go to you for this question.
I mean, so the movie kind of portrays the Amish as hardworking, simple folks, you know, focused on family and you know, I guess the tenets of their religion or whatever. It portrays Amish Randy Quaid as an idiot.
Mhm. Everybody in the Amish village is portrayed as a little bit sort of simple and maybe kind of almost inbred. Is kind of like a bit of a subtext.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably right. Much like Eric, I can't say that I know an awful lot about the Amish people outside of what I've seen in movies and on television and stuff. I've never been to Amish country, at least not that I can recall. I wouldn't be opposed to going to Amish country because their furniture is incredible and I like woodworking, so it'd be cool to see some of that. I know that they make great baked goods. So, and I like baked goods, so that's great. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to going to Amish country, but certainly wouldn't go out of my way to do it either. If it was on my way to someplace else that I actually wanted to go, sure, I'd go to Amish country. Otherwise, no, I don't have a lot of interest in that.
We could do a road trip if you want. You're close
Odd
enough.
road trip to Amish country.
Yeah,
I feel like we owe it to ourselves.
We should, yeah.
agree. Strong agree. Naveen, let's go to you. But could we start talking just a little bit about our high school?
Oh no. Okay, I want to hear this.
Okay. Yeah,
Deep
so I
in
guess
Amish country.
No, we did. Not necessarily Amish country, but we had ironically enough, they were called the Society of Brothers.
Also known as the Hutterians or the Hutterite. They're basically the German versions of the Amish.
Yeah, and they actually lived in Norfolk, pretty much. So they were there, and
10-15% of our high school, they were legally required to attend a public high school. They'd been homeschooled prior, but 9th to 12th grade. Like we kind of go, we finish middle school, we go to high school, and boom, this big chunk of like Amish people kind of sitting in classrooms with us.
Can I just ask for a point of clarification here?
Sure.
My understanding of the Amish, and I don't know if it's the same for the Hutterians, but is that they shun technology. They don't drive actual cars, vehicles, automobiles. Like they're very old fashioned in that way. How did they? How are they allowed to be in a public school with computers? And I presume they were also, they were interacting with some of this technology. How is that allowed?
Digital clocks.
Yeah.
So they know when to wake up.
They weren't allowed to use digital clocks. They had to look at the analog clocks on the wall. Like, I mean, what?
That day the rooster died, everyone was late.
Right, exactly.
I heard somebody had a Game Boy they brought to school and they showed to the other kids and they turned to stone. Is that true?
As far as I know, I mean, I really didn't look into it much or ask too much. They were there and I just accepted it. So it was one of those things we talk about with the movie. It's, we just uphold our disbelief or whatever, or just like whatever, and let it go. So yeah, those are very good questions. They did interact with us. Never saw a horse-drawn carriage, so they took the bus, as far as I know.
Yeah, everybody got on the same bus, and they just all got like literally bus.
Really? Wow,
right.
That's sacrilege.
Yeah, so I don't know how strict they were to the Amish code. So and their rules and things. So yeah, very good questions, but I couldn't tell you there. All I know is that they were there and dressed very similarly and couldn't do much, but they interacted with us, talked to us, and they were very friendly and cool people. I do recall at least one of them, maybe two of them, actually leaving that sect and just becoming, I guess, a normal person. I don't know how to put it, but they, I guess, stopped going there, and they came in like sweatshirt and jeans and started
basically the last year. Okay, so yeah. I'm not going to use first names for this story because we try to not be identifying, but the last name is important here. There was an older and a younger brother in a family called the Wardles. Were part of this, the Society of Brothers. The older Wardle brother was in like the same graduating class as Naveen and myself. Nice guy, didn't interact with him too much. And then the younger brother was the same age as my younger brother, and I think they were actually decently friends. Like I think they would actually kind of hang out and chat from time to time. Both Wardle brothers, when they finished their time at our high school, left the brotherhood, went to college, and got computer science degrees and became enormously successful in their respective fields. I'm not 100% sure whether it was one of these brothers, and again, from the Wardle family, or their cousin who lived in Wales that my own brother would tell me back in the day would make his own custom video games and send them to his brothers in the Hutterian society that they would play on computers at our high school. It was either the older brother, the younger brother, or the cousins out in Wales. Again, this is the Wardle family, but one of them invented the game Wordle, which became somewhat popular on the New York Times website about like 10, 15 years ago.
I wouldn't say somewhat popular. I would say hugely popular.
You've heard of it. You've heard of it. It was a play on the concept of like, this is a family video game. This is words for Wordles was the original concept of this game.
Huh.
Wow, you knew, kept up with a lot of their history.
Yeah. This is only secondhand through my brother, who actually I think like the younger brother actually became kind of like a tech CEO for like a little bit, and became like kind of just incredibly successful, and now is dating like this Argentinian model, and they're always posting on like Instagram and stuff. And my brother kind of keeps me up on his life once every few years.
It was developed by a Welsh gentleman.
Okay, that would be the cousin then.
So the cousin.
Interesting. Yeah. So we have a bit of a kind of like a weird connotation with like I think kind of like the and again, these people were like no technology. But when you would get in, I remember like in our high school, when you get in early, they would come in at 6:30 in the morning to use the computer labs, and would just be all messing around on the computers before we even went to class. Like Naveen said, it was like, it wasn't weird. It was just kind of part of the scenery when we went to like the high school that we did.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We didn't in Massachusetts. I don't think we had anything like that. I guess the closest I can think of is Old Sturbridge Village.
Sure.
Although I don't know where all those kids went to school.
I believe
I don't
now,
even
though,
think it was a thing. I think it was just more like
it's not an actual working,
not
like,
actual believers. It's just
everybody's kind of like it's like King Richard's Fair. Everybody's kind of cosplaying when they're
high
there.
school jobs, man.
It's like Plymouth Plantation.
Yeah.
If you ever went to that, it's the same concept.
True.
yeah, I believe now the Spartacus brothers have moved out of Connecticut.
They were losing too many members to computer science degrees, and I think they all moved up to upstate New York. But Naveen, for you, anytime like Amish country sort of proper, anytime down to Lancaster, Pennsylvania is the big area.
No, I mean, I've driven through those areas, and have to go around the horse and buggies and all that stuff,
Right.
but never really stopped and enjoyed the shops or seen some of their woodworking things or anything. Again, the only thing I know is just as much as everybody else knows is that they have their religious things, and they work hard and build everything and try to do everything themselves and shun technology and all that stuff. And that's the biggest thing to my extent.
No.
And I think not necessarily maybe Pennsylvania, but maybe more so in Ohio, driving by there and seeing the Ohioans, Amish people.
Oh, they have some like settlements and areas out there as well.
Yeah.
They have it throughout the United States, and I guess they don't all communicate with each other, so they all have slightly. They have really long strings with cans.
Some guy holding up again, Brother Jebediah. It's been forever.
The crows got to the cans again. God damn it!
Throw up the pigeon. Fly pigeon. Go.
Mike Tyson sending his pigeons. Fly pigeon. I looked up online too because I was curious about this. How easy is it to join the Amish? Like, I can imagine there are people out there that they're like, technology's taking over the world. They're taking all our jobs. Maybe we should go to old values. And they go to the Amish and like approach them and say, hey, because I guess I looked this up too. The Amish, it's usually the Christian. So say you're just like, strong to the Christian faith, and you're like, okay, they have Christian values. I like baking. Cell phones piss me off. I don't want to pay my electric bill. Maybe I'll go join the Amish.
These guys kind of looked silly back in 1996. 30 years later, I just watching these things or kind of thinking about sort of my time out there. I'm like, yeah, they kind of grow up just learning how to either grow or make shit. Kind of looking smarter and smarter every day if you think about it.
I would say yes. At the same time, I also found out what they'll sell at like farmers markets and stuff like that. They don't use like organic feed. Their produce is not necessarily organic. They still will use pesticides and like modern day farming techniques outside of what they learned back in the day, just for, I guess, convenience sake. So some people who are like, hey, I'm going to just do like the Amish diet or whatever. I mean, you're not necessarily getting better stuff there than you are at, like a Whole Foods or something, or Stop and Shop.
To my impression, it's they're not absolutist about technology. They will use pesticides, they will use modern antibiotics. So, if there is something that it's not a completely inflexible doctrine that they will under.
But I guess what they don't use still are like modern day refrigerators.
Oh,
they use they'll I guess they'll use refrigerators that are it's like a propane refrigerator.
Wow.
It's weird. I've never heard of this, but they make them that you use it makes the refrigerator cold using propane. Or they use like ice boxes and stuff like that. And so that kind of I guess how they prepare the meats and then allow their meats to stay, clean for a long time or not go bad. They have different preparation methods.
They have like kind of salting or preserving.
And stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't know, that kind of stuff, the fact that they're all, strong and healthy, I bring into question. But
what if so Amish dudes have beards. What if you can't grow a good beard? Like I can grow a Van Dyke, the sort of around the mouth and on the chin, but on my cheeks, it's super patchy and it really doesn't grow very well.
So if your grandmother can grow a fuller beard than you actually can, like are you outcast from the community?
Yeah. That's exactly my question, because my grandmother had a luxurious, long, thick beard.
Right.
Ishmael didn't have a beard.
He didn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's that's a thing though. Like maybe that's totally ignorant, but I feel like that's a thing for the Amish people, is they have, like, most men, if not all of them, have beards.
I could try to reach out to one of the Wardle brothers and see if he'll come on the pod.
Yes,
I heard there's a giant landfill.
He has a pretty unique
Lancaster,
name that I saw. Sorry, Papa, you go.
There's a giant landfill outside Lancaster, Pennsylvania, just full of just old bones, just drying in the sun. Apparently, if you can't grow a full beard, they just kind of, they toss the bad eggs.
Yeah.
They have more in part with like the Zulu or Spartan culture.
And it smells awful because they have no way of preserving that meat, so they just kind of let it fester.
They got to save that salt for all the jerky they make.
They got to keep the coyotes at bay, so they just make regular sacrifices to the coyote gods.
I have actually spent a bunch of time in Amish country. My fiance is like a lot of Japanese people, actually really, really fascinated by the idea of kind of like Amish existence and culture and society. And like a few years back, we actually took a long weekend. We drove out to Lancaster. We stayed at an Airbnb in, I'm not making this up, a town called Intercourse, Pennsylvania. It was the second story of a barn. One of the nicest Airbnbs you'll ever kind of stay at. We drove around. It was like the countryside was beautiful. The food was incredible. Long weekend road trip / podcast out to Amish country, I think would be like an absolute home run for us at some point.
I don't think I'd feel comfortable staying in Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Would you feel comfortable driving 5 minutes down the road and staying at a different town in Pennsylvania called Fertility?
That can't be true.
That is absolutely not a thing I could make up.
I could
Stay at
stay
Aqualot.
in Babyface, Pennsylvania, out by the Coyote landfill.
In between King of Prussia and Chevy Chase. Pennsylvania's a weird state, man. I don't know. Let's keep going on like the talking points. Wikipedia. And Eric kind of first posted this. I'm like, are you sure about your sources here? But we took another look, and it's like there have only been 13 movies made that have bowling as a major kind of setting or theme. The top three, obviously, are obvious ones in all 90s movies, but The Big Lebowski, Kingpin, and The Flintstones. Gentlemen, why are there so few bowling movies?
I would answer your question with a question. How many bowling movies do we actually need? 3
You
seems
say
reasonable.
that, but maybe we need a lot more than we got.
10 is excessive. Anything beyond that is unnecessary.
I feel like you could do a lot with bowling films because there's just so few bowling films that exist. It's kind of like Happy Gilmore, right? Before Happy Gilmore came out, who could say that they actually saw like a really good golf movie?
Caddyshack.
That's true. Yeah, there's Caddyshack, but after Caddyshack, there was like nothing. And then Happy Gilmore came out. I can't say a lot more golf movie came out after that, but I feel it. Although I was thinking about this one as well, and I'm like, people remember bowling as like birthday parties when you were a kid, and people that as they get older, it's kind of like a hobby or something, and it's not something people do regularly.
Right.
It's kind of like if you go, to like a bar and play pool or something like that. Oh, cool, they have a pool table. So it's kind of like a hobby. And so it's like, how do you turn that hobby into like a full film and have people take it seriously?
I think there's also an element of like bowling is just not really that cinematic at the end of the day compared to most like just football. Not a football fan, but football, there's a lot of different stuff you can pick. Same thing with baseball. Certainly the same thing with martial arts. Bowling, it's just someone bowls a strike or someone picks up a split. What are the other exciting things that can kind of just happen just visually, cinematically within the sport itself? That's kind of it, right?
Yeah. Although, keep this in mind too, Wii Sports bowling saved Nintendo. Because when Wii came out, I mean, that was a huge gamble for Nintendo, and they survived because of that fucking game, especially the bowling.
Sure.
It's like people like bowling.
Bowling and Wii tennis. People are just like, okay, after the GameCube, you're like, yeah, they've kind of lost the juice. And then everybody bought that game and only that game.
Yeah. It's a weird one. I wanted to confirm, too, of those 13 films that are listed on Wikipedia, look what some of them are. One's Bowling for Columbine. Not really a bowling movie.
Not a bowling movie.
Yeah.
No, but it has bowling in it. I guess they said the before the shooting, I guess the guys went to do bowling, or there was some kind of theory that they went bowling to kind of make sure they're good to go before they start shooting people. But also listed in that list, there's like, I think there was like a Tom and Jerry for TV bowling movie. There might have been like a Scooby-Doo or Hanna-Barbera one as well. So, I mean, it's not like a full list, although they not included in the list are a couple of Tubi ones, or like straight to streaming service movies. So, yeah, that's just
like, I just found out kind of like looking at this list. I'm like, there can't be that few bowling movies, but kind of like digging in a couple different points. I'm like, yeah, it's just even Big Lebowski. The whole thing of like these kind of vets and burnouts going bowling together is a film taken from The Deer Hunter, which is kind of one of Chris Walken's first kind of big movies from like the 1970s. Even then, that's kind of ripping off like a thing like a little bit, but it that's a surprising thing to me, just because like just how many movies are there about just about every other sport that's ever kind of like been conceived,
But I mean, look what Big Lebowski did. It's like a classic, and that's it's about bowling, essentially.
Right. Literally, the last scene, like the last frame of like the movie, it's like a perfect kind of shot, like bowling moment.
Yeah.
But like, sort of going to like another topic point though. But what do you guys? This is a good question, particularly kind of kids of the '80s, teenagers of the '90s. What's your history with bowling growing up? And did this movie actually make you want to go bowling after watching it?
Bowling is like eating pancakes.
Mm.
It's great for a little while, and
Mhm.
then very quickly gets old.
Mm.
I maybe bowl, I don't know, 1 to 2 times a year, maybe a little bit more than that, usually under protest, usually because, you know, the kids have asked to go bowling or it's a birthday party or whatever. We have a bowling alley, like probably 5 minutes down the road from my house, maybe even less than that. So yeah, I think it's fun for a couple of frames, and then I kind of lose interest. I'm not particularly good at it, largely I think because I don't do it that often. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand the draw to it at all. Doesn't do anything for me.
Papa, how about yourself?
I was going to say, does that include candlepin bowling as well? All bowling or?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Naveen, just for reference, this is some weird mutant non-bowling thing that people from Massachusetts insist actually is bowling. It's nothing, and it's not relevant to this conversation.
I know what candlepin bowling is, but thank
Shots fired.
I
There
know.
we go. There we go.
I know I'm not
It's
smart.
on our side.
That is harsh, dude.
I know I'm not smart, but I do know what candlepin bowling is.
How dare
I
you?
don't know how you can be good at candlepin bowling. I really don't until I had there was a company function a couple years back where my whole team went out bowling, and they're like, okay, we got to do candlepin because there's this place in Somerville that it's like it's flatbreads, but it's also this like it used to be a mom and pop like candlepin bowling place that's been there for years. And I remember I'm just kind of like, okay, little tiny ball. I'm not sure how to bowl this thing. It's like the size of what, like a softball or something. Yeah, you roll it down the alley, try to knock down a bunch of pins.
They're not regular bowling pins, though.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Yeah, they're shaped differently. They don't
Cylinder.
have the rounded top to them. It's just kind of like I don't know.
Basically, just like a stick. It's like a straight
Like a
pin
stick.
almost.
Yeah.
Like I said, bullshit Massachusetts game, not a real thing.
What about duck
Yeah.
pin bowling? Is that also not real?
I don't know what that is. Is that like
Duck
with
pin
the
bowling?
zapper?
It's
It's like a duck. It's like a dog. It's like the pin, like the duck pin up after you shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You just shoot the pins down with like
Right.
with a rifle, and then the dog holds up the pins because he knocked them out.
I've never done that.
Good
That
job.
sounds weird.
yeah. I believe it's the same really as regular bowling, except the ball and the pins are just smaller.
It looks like a cross between candlepin bowling and regular bowling, honestly.
Where they have duck pin bowling? Is that like a Winston thing?
They may have had it there. I can't remember where it was. It didn't take off. I don't think it lasted long.
Right.
You know, regular bowling always just kind of took over.
Right.
Duckpin is popular in the New England and Mid-Atlantic regions, often found in historic, smaller, or boutique venues. In Massachusetts, for example, it can be played at places like North Chelmsford Lanes.
Oh.
There you
So
go.
there
North Chelmsfford. We were there already for so much of the other culture.
North Chelmsford.
Chelmsford.
Just
Yeah,
sort of
bowling
roll, and
back
also
in
if
the
you
day.
want to do tax-free shopping, pop all the way up to Nashua. It's a full Saturday with your friends.
Yep.
Naveen, can we
bowling back
shout
in the
out
day.
like the very sadly lost, gone but not forgotten, high school bowling,
Skytop.
Skytop Lanes.
Ah,
Get that
Yeah.
planes.
I'm not running my video feed, but I'm just doing like the little, I'm kind of pointing up to heaven. Good place. Spent my senior prom there with a surprising number of my friends. Actually, I think Naveen was in the minority of actually having a date that night, but it's just a place that will always have like a real warm spot in my heart. Old school bowling house. How many times? Just how much of high school was to kind of go into like Skytop on a Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, the high school was just that fun. I guess to take it back to Andy's thing, I mean, we did a lot because there wasn't much to do around there, but I mean, I enjoyed it. You get 2 games in, and that was just always fun. And then going to local pizza place or
The Friendly's
anywhere.
5 minutes down the hill.
Yeah, to afterwards just to hang out. It was just something to do, and it was just a lot of fun. Enjoyed it so much, and I still enjoy it. I don't do it as often. Maybe it's probably been a few years since I've last done it, but maybe once or twice a year if I'm lucky. But I don't seek it out either. It's not like I have to go, but I do enjoy it. I remember even in college years over there at UConn for a little bit, they would have those Willie Bowl, the college nights where they would be like 9 to 12. You could go and you pay like $10-15 and you get to bowl as many games as you can in 3 hours.
Wow.
And that was always a lot of fun to just do that.
One of the things about Skytop was it never at any point had the system of you put your names in and then you'd only be allowed to bowl a limited number of frames. It's just you kept rolling and you wrote down what you got if you wanted, or you just fucked around if you didn't. And it was just most nights they didn't even care how long you were there. And I go into modern bowling alleys now, and you got like fucking Big Brother tracking the entire thing. And I'm always like, this is fascism. This is no fascist bullshit.
The most fun part of bowling now is coming up with your stupid name for the overhead.
Mm-hmm. Bowling is, I think, really for people our age or older, it's a remnant thing of just, there's nothing else to do inside on a Friday night. So you leave, go see a movie, you go bowling. It's something I like a sport itself. I never kind of loved. Certainly as an adult, I will play pool 99 times out of 100, like any kind of like sort of day of the week. But it was fun, and it was kind of one of these things I think kind of coming up where it was sort of adult, because there was always these kind of grown-up leagues and people sort of drinking beer and messing around and everything else, but it was also something that you kind of you could get into as a kid, and it felt a little bit kind of grown up sort of like that way. And as kind of meh I am as a sport overall, just like the experience of just kind of going out to like a place like this, particularly Skytop with my friends, is a real strong, real sentimental memory for me.
Yeah. And again, going back to Andy thing, like his kids want to go because it's like, all right, it's something we can go to and enjoy and do something that's not sitting in the house. So it was, right with you, Johnny. Sentimental to me as well, and enjoyed it at the same time. And sometimes it was fun trying to throw the ball and figure out how to get this top spin to go and see where you can get it to do and all those things.
A mutual friend, sadly kind of fallen off over like last few years, but let's just say Naveen's old bass player had this bit he would do with a ball return, and the scene at the beginning of Roy losing his hand made me think about this. This was back in the day a very tall, lanky guy. What he would do is he'd go up to the ball return and he would sit on top of the ball return and he would pretend like he was trying to take a shit, and then he would just yell every time while the ball would sort of pop out of the ball return. And it's just like the size, the height, and the lankiness and the proportions of this guy, it made it just look convincing enough. He did this up till including the night of our senior prom, where he was with us with I think more than 50% of my high school friends were at Skytop Lanes, the night that the cooler guys were at school, just that the girls are sort of blah 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 blah. Our Naveen's ex bass player, every single time he did that shit, it would make me laugh. Never failed, because it just looked convincing enough.
Yeah. I have a mental picture, and I can,
It's just imagine in your mind, and it was that good or better.
Yep. I could see that.
And what happened to him, by the way? He became Amish?
We're saving that one for Patreon, for sure.
Not quite Amish.
He will still be able to grow a beard, though. Real quick before we go on to Sorbet. Kingpin, this era came up with much more interesting questions. This is some real Johnny bullshit right here. Kingpin is a retelling of Moby Dick. Discuss.
Oh, look at me. I'm Eric. I'm well read and I make all these
I-
connections. Lost Boys.
Is
Peter
Eric
Pan.
saying that?
Hey, I got a confession for you. I never actually read the fucking book. Mind blown. And
You're
I
not
used to be
even
your
bothered
bass
to shame
player.
me. You're going to shame the guy who looks like he's about to say something. Look at me. I'm Eric.
Look,
it's crazy.
Look, man, look.
Look.
Just because I saw Risky Business before you did,
Right.
and you just weren't on that bandwagon. I mean, that's kind of on you.
Right.
It had all the elements there for you to pick up.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
As for that, I guess with Moby Dick, it's what I've never read it either. But catching the white whale,
Synopsis in brief.
yeah, catching the white whale, right, in Moby Dick or something. So I
white
guess
whale.
it is, getting that bowling championship that he never got a chance to do, and Roy Munson, that is, as opposed to Ishmael going for it.
So I don't know.
Don't let Naveen shame you.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, look, man, that still hurts. Oh man. Listen, Ahab.
Hey.
I did the research
I'm
on
with
this
his
one
Massachusetts accent. That does sound like a slur.
Hey, Ahab, I got something for you, white whale.
Fucking Ahab.
Yeah, look at this fucking Ahab over here.
Yeah.
Naveen, cut this out. All right, thanks.
Okay, let me just give a brief synopsis of Moby Dick.
Uh-huh.
And maybe I don't get this right. It's about Ishmael, who used to be a crewman on Ahab's ship.
Mm-hmm.
Who he's telling a story about how he was brought on Ahab's ship to hunt down a white whale, who apparently had taken Ahab's leg.
Yep.
And Ahab was on this mission to go fucking kill that whale. And everybody dies. I guess maybe the whale gets away. Ishmael's the only survivor of the crew, so he's telling about what happened. And I will say yes and no. Are there like some of it overlaps, some of it doesn't? I feel though like this could be like you could have used this as sort of a basis for this movie, but then you just kind of like divert at certain places, so it's not like the exact same thing. But I mean, there's the fact that it's the narrator, the guy that was on the ship telling about this crazy fucking loon, is named Ishmael. Just kind of right there, kind of is like a flag. You're like, okay. Ishmael is such a uncommon name. Maybe it's like every other male is named Ishmael in like the Amish community. I have no idea. They don't use names on Amish Paradise, but yeah, you see Ishmael, you see like the missing, appendage. I will say that Roy Munson, maybe he does have a grudge against Ernie McCracken, ruining his fucking career. But I feel like he's trying to make up for it through Ishmael. Like Ishmael is the guy that he's bringing in because clearly he can't do it himself. So he's like, I'm going to bring in Ishmael to like take down Ernie McCracken. But they also don't make that apparent at like when Roy Munson sees like the poster for the tournament. He's not like, this is my chance to get back at Ernie McCracken. He's just like, hey, my career's gone down the shitter, so I can make some money back to make up for everything that I lost. It just happens to be that Ernie McCracken is, of course, in the tournament, and he's like the big guy to beat. So there's some there. There's also some places where it's like completely different.
I am just still shocked at Naveen's behavior here, but let's go on to Andy real quick.
My behavior? All right. Well, I just want to throw in there as well. Ernie's name being McCracken, McCracken,
yep.
And the whale.
Another monster name right there. Yeah.
And then the other thing is the correction. Amish Paradise does name names in there. Jebediah feeds a chicken, and Jacob plows. Fool.
You're 2 for 2, buddy.
I am. Damn. Sorry, guys.
Andy, what do you have to add to
I quit. I don't care how well you do on Spotify. I'm done for the year.
You know what? I'm just gonna go eat my chocolate covered bacon and just live the best version of my life.
Naveen says that, but 10 minutes after the court's like, where the fuck's my mandolin? I got to do poke. Andy, what do you got?
I have tried and failed to read Moby Dick 3 times.
Interesting.
I have never been able to get more than maybe 25 pages into it before just tapping out.
Can I also confirm, have you ever listened to a full Moby album?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
He's actually a real dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Vegan too. And he'll tell you.
Yeah.
Much like every vegan.
Likes being a dick, but won't eat, but's a vegan.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I guess for me, like if I'm kind of inferring some of the stuff that I imagine, or at least I assume happens in Moby Dick, I would say, you know, the stories are both about, I guess, obsession and revenge. Although, to Eric's point, revenge is less expressly a part of Kingpin. I think it's more of a fringe benefit than anything else. It's a man.
He is trying to like fundamentally get back at this guy, though. Like 17 years he's been drinking. He lost all of his 80s. He's kind of obsessed with the guy. He does sort of like his the denouement of the film is like he figures out, oh, I could bowl perfectly fine this entire time. I was just pissed off and depressed and angry at this guy because of kind of what happened.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, they're both stories that are sort of defined by, I guess, loss of some kind. And then, yeah, you got 2 dudes both named Ishmael.
Yeah.
I know. It's like,
what is
this? Is my
Claudia's just for fun. She's just like I don't know. There was other crewmates.
A lot of the men in the movie treated her that way. There's
Claudia was Queequeg.
This was kind of my freshman year. I actually studied Moby Dick for like a semester. I think it's a piece of shit novel. I don't recommend anyone reading it. Here's the book in a nutshell. There are some people, there are some situations, there are some things that happen in life that you're just not going to get your lick back. You're not going to get revenge. You're not going to balance the scales out. And the better thing to do is just figure out how to move on with your life, because if you preoccupy yourself with it, you're going to go crazy. Roy, beginning the story, loses a limb because he just was like fucking around with like the wrong guy. He got betrayed, and it cost him a part of his body. He teams up with a guy named Ishmael. He goes through this long, arduous, fucked up thing. He's just thinking the entire time that the entire thing is just like he's mad, and then he's like, oh, you know, he meets Ishmael, and he's like, I can put together a crew. I can get back at this fucking monster that mutilated me in the first place. Ernie McCracken, Kraken, obviously in the name, Sea Beast analog. But the thing about the movie is Billy Boy is such an elemental force. He wins the movie, right? He betrays, he betrays Roy at the beginning, hurts him, mutilates him, kind of takes him out of the game. And at the end, he still wins the tournament. And kind of in the middle of all that, it reveals he actually fucked Claudia. And it's a thing he even kind of barely remembers, because just about every single scene in this movie is how many other beautiful women Billy has just kind of like the sort of like managed kind of like pull in the meantime. And it's like in Moby Dick ends the same way. Like this guy loses a limb and is just consumed by his absolute need to kind of get back at something that's a force of nature. What's amazing to me about Kingpin is not only as the character was written is such a force of nature, but Billy himself, when they were filming this thing, and this probably came up in trivia, but bowled 3 straight strikes were actually filming that championship in real life. And when you see people fucking going crazy and erupting at like the 3rd strike, and him and just waving his arms and just being all cocky and strutting around, that's what he was actually doing in real life, because that's how the crowd was actually acting that way. Moby
Like
Dick
I
is
said,
about
man's a legend. Man is a legend.
Amazing golfer, pretty good bowler.
pretty good bowler.
Yep.
I think, and I think that's kind of like a really sort of like meaningful thing to kind of like think about for like a little bit, is that we can preoccupy ourselves to sort of kind of get back at something that if you want to be realistic about it, you're never going to get back at it in a real way, one way or the other. Like, just Roy gets a little bit lucky that he sort of picks up a sponsorship. He and Claudia sort of kind of get back together. But you're watching Kingpin, at the end of it, like, just Claudia's kind of mobster boyfriend and his enforcer, like, oh, maybe we're going to track down this McCracken guy. So they're never going to lay a finger on him. There's never going to be like a post-credit scene of it, because he is untouchable. He is gone. He's like a force of nature rather than like a human being or like a real character in this thing.
Teflon Don.
Teflon Don. Well, there we go. Like about making this is you watching no one battle after another, than making a contemporary right now. Yeah. Any closing thoughts on Kingpin, or should we get on to Sorbet real quick?
I got a few things with trivia,
Yep.
and I haven't gone back and checked it, and I do want to do it.
Hmm.
But at the end scene where they're all in that bowling stadium and everything,
Hmm.
the back rows of it, they're just cardboard cutouts of people.
We used to be a country. It's the same thing as the mannequins in Frankenhooker.
Yeah.
You notice it looks better.
And then we talked about a little bit about casting, and just this was pretty interesting.
Hmm.
They had Chris Farrelly supposed to play Ishmael.
Better movie or worse movie if it's Farley?
Question is, did you like Black Sheep?
Nobody
enjoyed
liked it. Really?
So then I
Yes.
think it would have been a great movie.
Yeah. Michael Keaton was supposed to play Roy Munson.
Oh, that would have also worked.
Jim
Weird.
Carrey was supposed
Okay.
to play Ernie McCracken.
Thank fucking God he
Mhm.
didn't.
Keaton, I support wholeheartedly. Carrie, no.
One that I think was really funny for Vigos is the Farrelly brothers met with Michael Richards, Kramer from Seinfeld, privately to discuss a role in the movie. However, the conversation didn't go particularly well. Disagreement arose between Richards and the Farrelly brothers, and then
Specifically over the use of the N-word.
probably at one point, Richards excused himself to go use the bathroom in their office. After he didn't return from the bathroom for like half an hour, the brothers broke down the door to see if he was okay. That's when they had discovered that Richards had climbed out the window and left.
It's almost like that guy had some personal problems.
Maybe.
Okay.
Force of nature. All right. So you guys probably saw this one, but Woody Harrelson, to prepare for this film, shaved his head and actually grew a comb over to play the character of Roy Munson.
Amazing.
He
Oh,
also,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like later on, Roy Munson, when he's kind of put on like some extra weight, he didn't want to gain weight for the role.
The whole prosthetic was like a pot belly, right?
Yeah. Thinking of that suit. He also couldn't bowl for shit. So they just they trained him. They had somebody come in to train him how to look good when you bowl a ball.
Yep.
But they said the entire filming of the movie, he probably only got a total of 2 strikes.
Again, Billy, 3 strikes in a row in front of a cheering crowd at the exact moment that it mattered. Like,
You know what? He learned on Candlepin.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
I think
So when they gave him 10
think
pin, he's like, I can't
he
deal with this
probably
bullshit.
legit went home with Vanessa Angel for real. Like after that.
Was she ever in anything else other than the
Yes.
weird
He's been
science?
acting consistently
yeah.
this entire time. Kingpin is the only movie she's been like above the title.
All right. Other thing I want to shout out, Paul Simon got an early viewing of the scene, the sex scene, or I guess I should say the post-sex scene between the landlord and Roy Munson, where they play Sound of Silence.
Yeah.
And he gave his personal blessing to use that song. He's supposed to, that's the way it should be used.
Andy,
Yeah.
one of your favorite movies she was in, and I didn't realize it till now. Spies Like Us.
She's the
Yeah.
yes.
She's
the Russian spy or the Russian
She is.
whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Spice Like Us must have predated this by like 8 years, though. Like
Oh,
this is
shit. I didn't-
Spies Like
didn't
Us,
put that together.
1985.
Yeah.
Okay. This is her 11 years after being in Spies Like Us, and she still looks like
Interesting.
Yep.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Some people just have that DNA, I guess. I don't know.
Mm.
Oh,
Very true.
Kingpin. People a little bit mixed on the movie, but I think just fun rewatch, fun kind of revisit it like a 90s classic, and I think great conversation. Let's go on to Sorbet. Eric had like a really interesting, really excellent kind of set of different talking points that he put out for the film, and I thought like this was an interesting enough one that it should kind of warrant its own sort of kind of part of our little wind down segment. So Munsoned. In the film, Munsoned is defined as means to be a born loser, to mess up, experience a disastrous situation. What does your name mean? And who would like to go first here?
I'll go. So originally, I actually came up with my own definition of what my name was, but then Johnny made that sound like that was an absolutely crazy decision for me to have made. So I will give the actual definition of Andrew, followed by what mine was. Andrew, according to Google, is a traditionally masculine name of Greek origin, derived from Andreas and the element honor, or A-N-E-R, meaning, quote, manly, strong, courageous, or warrior. It is a classic, enduring name with deep historical and religious roots, widely recognized as the name of Jesus's first disciple, Saint Andrew. I would say that it is hilarious that they used manly, strong, courageous, or warrior in that definition, because I wouldn't use a single one of those words to describe myself. As evidenced by the thing that I wrote prior to that, Andrewed, as Munsoned, as in Andrewed, means to go through life pretending to be confident and competent when in reality you rarely understand anything that's going on around you. So that would be my that would be the definition of myself.
Wow, somebody's having a shit on Andy day.
I guess so. I guess so. I did write that on an airplane after having been on an airplane for about 5.5 hours. So
After watching that double feature that you talked about earlier. Fuck, man. That
was
tough.
actually that was one of the,
it's tough to come down from that.
That was one of the things that distracted me from not from watching movies on the way home. So yeah. So there you go.
You didn't end up with you're like Andrewed, and then it just says hoo-ha.
Hoo-ha. You but Andrew.
I would like to go next because I was initially very discouraged by this question because I saw it on the group chat. I'm like, this is just Eric trying to hurt me. Because my name, it's just
John,
my name is my name, but like what?
Derived from Johnny Appleseed, which is a man who just wants to feed his family for generations to come.
But sort of going back, like it was actually the actual history of John is fascinating. So like a very kind of Cliff Notes. Middle English it comes from John. Old French that derived from the Old French, which was Jean. Derived from medieval Latin, which was Johannes. Derived from Greek, which is Ioannis. Derived from a transliteration of the Hebrew name Yochanan, which is a contracted form of the longer name Yehochanan, meaning God is gracious or God is merciful, from the verb chanan, to be gracious or to have mercy. The name John, because of it, because of its connection to both the Apostle John, who wrote the Gospel according to John, but also John the Baptist, who was a prophet forerunner of Jesus, who had like a whole career. But at the end of his career, it's like you won't even believe the guy that's coming after me. Then Jesus is like the Marvel sort of post credits like version like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
The name John in the English speaking world, up until the latter half of the 20th century, was the most common given name because of like the connection of like those two saints.
Okay.
That's John, but what about Johnny?
But what about Johnny? Well, I can briefly sort of talk about the two things Eric probably wanted me to cover, which is why is it
Johnny,
named
Jesus'
toilet?
dude, buddy.
Why
They
is it
went
named
bowling
after the
together on
toilet, and
Sunday
why
nights.
is it why are Johns also the prostitute, like customers of prostitutes? Well, John came from an inventor called John Harrington in the court of Queen Elizabeth. He was the guy who first designed the toilet. Couldn't get a working version. They could not get a working version of the toilet until the S-bend was invented several, like a couple decades later. But Sir John Harrington, a accomplished inventor and poet in Queen Elizabeth's court, came up with this idea of like the toilet. He called it an Ajax. That was his original name. But the idea of just like toilet itself, like the concept of a device that could take shit and bring it somewhere far away was so popular at the the Elizabethan court was so enraptured by it that they just started calling the idea of a toilet John, and it stuck when they ended up like making the actual real things. This is all real.
Can I say it? I think you queued me up.
Shoot.
From now on, all the toilets in the kingdom shall be known as Johns.
Hey.
There we go, men in tights.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing, just why is the name of customers of prostitutes? It's basically because it's a 20th century slang, and the fact that when you try to give your name anonymously, John Smith, John Doe, it came from basically how you would register in kind of like a client list or a motel register, or even how you'd show up on like a arrest report. If you you're putting down John Smith or John Doe, John became just sort of synonymous with like a guy that doesn't want people to know what he's doing like after hours.
That seems fitting.
Yeah,
Fair
that line. Yeah.
Naveen, how about yourself?
I mean, not as big in there, but my first name, Naveen, is new, as in fresh, young. It's a Hindi translation and everything. Young, bright, creative kind of thing.
For the youngest looking guy in the pod, that certainly makes sense.
Me? I'm the youngest looking guy in the pod?
Agreed.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Great skin.
Yeah.
Great skin.
Okay.
Black don't
I guess.
crack.
Very smooth.
Yeah. Yeah, and meaning new, young, bright, creative kind of thing. So that's about it. There's just a lot of people who've been named that, and one of the biggest things was when Disney put in the name Naveen in their Princess and the Frog.
Prince Naveen.
That was big for you guys.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I was like, yeah, that's me. They got their name from me.
Oh,
You're
sweet.
a Disney prince.
Yeah.
He was very young.
And Papa, let's end on you. I almost did this research for you as well because I saw the Northman like just a couple days, and I'm so now filled with like aggressive Scandinavian pride that I'm like I should look up like, Viking origins for like both of us. But
I'm just telling you, yeah, my parents went in the better direction for naming their son, sons. Yeah, Eric, of Old Norse origin, derived from Eirikr. I don't know how to pronounce it. Eirikr. Erika, meaning eternal ruler, ever kingly, ever powerful. It's a strong Scandinavian name. Think back to Eric the Red, which is in the 10th century Norse explorer who founded the first settlement in Greenland.
Or Eric the Viking.
Eric the Viking. Oh, true. Yeah.
That was a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or as Naveen says, Eric the Red Moby Dick. Lame.
I never said that.
Yeah. Paraphrase.
Oh man, you're 3 for 3, buddy. This hurts.
Right.
What? That wasn't me. That was Johnny.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I got it. So it's a great name, great origins. I actually came up with my own meaning for my name, which I think is more fitting specifically to me. Eric, or I guess Eric is it's when you laugh at something that's considered random to almost everybody but yourself. So I guess a couple examples I could use. I Eric'd when I saw an old woman get hit by a bus. Oh, I've got another one. Hold on. That gentleman Eric when an eagle flew off with a 5-year-old on a scooter.
Oh, we all Eric.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we are using this from now on.
This is whenever I ask anybody to like describe my type of humor, that's what it always comes down to. They're like, I don't know when Eric's gonna laugh, but usually it's when something random happens.
For other examples of Eric laughing completely randomly at other just insane nonsense, please listen to every single posted episode of our spin-off show, Cunning of the Goose. Our 2-man little discussion of like kind of just kind of nerd shit and horror movies, and it cannot make sense to anybody other than not even to ourselves. But
It's by ourselves for ourselves.
there we go. Instead of FUBU, it's Fi-Bi.
We are ever kingly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Closing thoughts. We're running like a little bit late.
Great movie overall. Great pick. Yeah, great pick there, Eric. Still love. I love the movie, but it was great. It wasn't as good as it was when first saw it, but I would say definitely recommend for those who have not seen it.
I think it's one of those comedies that if you're a fan of comedy, you should see it, regardless of anything you've heard this evening from myself or anyone else.
Thank you. This is like going back to watch any of like the early 2000s comedies. Or
this is basically like me
in
going
90s.
back and watching The Godfather, really, if we're going to be honest.
Yes. Let's say this in the same episode: The Godfather and Kingpin, comparable like artistic accomplishments.
They're
think so.
practically
I
the
think
same
so.
movie.
Products of their time.
All right. All the cut scenes involve Talia Shire.
That's right.
I think though, I'll say this. It was a slow start. I don't remember it being 20 minutes of just a semi-serious movie, although I laughed really hard when it starts out where young Roy Munson, his dad's like, "Hey, Roy." And it just shows the kid running and he jumps over the fence, slips the edge of it and like stumbles. That's a great way to start it. But then they follow that up with just like 15 minutes of like serious storytelling.
This is an actual point I heard on a different podcast about Kingpin, but they pointed out, just kind of like the sort of like the kind of the theme of the movie about this thing you can't defeat. Seems like Roy had a good family, a loving father, a community that supported. Like he could have just gone back home at any point and probably gotten supported and kind of taken care of and sort of gotten back on his feet like a lot earlier in his life. Instead of just kind of drinking Jim Beam and blowing his landlord in the Scranton, Pennsylvania flop house for like 17 years. Right?
I know people come back to this film for the humor and the things that they remember after they had seen it a couple times back in the day, remembering it as a Farrelly Brothers flick. But the things that hit me the most watching it again were the serious moments that I couldn't explain when I had first seen it that just left an impression on me. One being when Roy comes back to his hometown with Claudia, and then he's just sitting there trying to fix his comb over, and he goes, "How do I look?" And she goes, "You look good, Roy." It's genuinely funny because he looks like shit. But I remember when I first saw that, I'm like, I feel weird about this scene. Like, clearly she's being nice to him.
It's very sweet.
But it is. Right. That's what it is. It comes off. Yeah.
Find yourself a woman in your life that at your fucking lowest or like a moment like that, even if you do look like shit, she'd be like, "Yeah, you're doing fine."
Yep.
You're good. You're doing good. The ending though, too, when Ishmael's brother shows up and takes him back, he's like, "All right." And Ishmael's like, "There's no way you can make me come back." And he's just like, "We gotta go." He's like, "Okay." And then he just leaves, and then Claudia's gone. And then when Roy, he just gets a big strike, and it's at the very end, and he thought he won the game or whatever. It's like, no, it's right before his last big bowl, and he has got to get a strike to stay in. And then he does it, and he turns around, and he's like, "Where's everybody?" And the thing that I didn't think about the first time the first 30 times I saw this, where he's truly alone at that moment, and you have to wonder, did he make up that entire story to get to where he is now? I felt like
Interesting.
It was
Oh,
it was a bizarre moment
Completely
for me where,
impossible. I met this crazy Amish guy and this far more beautiful woman than would either like that would not even kind of deign to talk to me or would not even exist in Lancaster County proper. Like
exactly.
that's really
And that's why I
interesting.
felt like he just, it's kind of like he woke up from like a whatever 20-year stupor. And then he's like,
Right.
I'm going to give it one last go. But he had to make up, because he was an alcoholic for all these years. Who knows? All the shit he made up, all the excuses he made up to get him there, to go do that tournament. And then he fucking blows it. I'm like, but what if he had won it too? Would he have just kept the money? Or would he have gone and tried to find Ishmael again and Claudia and patch everything up and have a happy ending?
Well, I think I can actually answer that, because the scene right after he comes in second at the tournament, and it's a winner take all, so he's just walking away with shit. He gets attacked by Claudia's ex and his enforcer.
Oh,
they all punch each other in the nuts. They're all just kind of like sitting there and like in the and like the boyfriend's like, where can I find this McCracken guy? And Roy's like, you're not going to find him. And you're not going to get back at him if you let yourself preoccupy yourself with that motherfucker. You're just going to waste like a whole bunch of time.
Yeah,
I think that's the that's when I kind of like the sort of I kind of bring up like the Moby Dick thing, like the broad theme of that movie, like the broad thing of that story or stories like this is occasionally acknowledging, yeah, you know what, you're not going to get your lick back. There's some things where you're not going to get revenge, and the healthier, saner, more like the saner thing that considers the reality of the human experience is just put it down, let it go, figure out how to kind of go on with your life.
and that explains like the follow up right after that. He's like, so what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to go whaling off the coast of Nantucket? Like, you know what, rough.
I know a guy from Nantucket. Let's wind it down there. Naveen, cut this part out if this doesn't actually work, but sort of real quick team building exercise. You ready? I'm going to say something. You're going to know what it is immediately, and I'm going to start saying something. I'm going to point at my screen, and let's all say the last two words together. You ready? Ready? I lied and told her I podcast. She didn't care.
But anyway.
Right.
But anyway.
Oh,
Perfect. Naveen, leave all that in. Coming up next week, Andy, we won't ask for too much of your time on this, but your pick for sports.
My pick for sports is Shaolin soccer.
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, because I think it looks good, and I think I'm the only one here that hasn't seen it, so it'll be fun to kind of get everybody's impressions along with mine.
This is Steve Chow's like the feature he made previous to Kung Fu Hustle, still by far the most watched movie review that we've done on the channel.
And that leads me to reason number two why I chose it, which is I am doing an experiment to see if we just need to become an entirely Kung Fu themed podcast.
How amazing would that be?
I think it would be pretty fucking awesome, to be honest with you.
this is what
Right.
we always come back to, this Asian cinema.
Right.
It's cinema. Yeah. Well, Naveen, if you can kind of put like the mandolin music over this one more time. I'm going to wave to my friends. Bye, whores!
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
But anyway.